Please, for the love of God, clean your airbrushes. Look at that. I'm so proud of it. Hi guys, this is Chroma Wave, and you can call me Chrome. Today, we are going to paint our beloved pink Umamusume Haru Urara. Now, this is a tribute to both the IRL horse, which just passed away recently, and the character. Haru Urara is a character from Umamusume Pretty Derby with a staggering 113 losses in real life, yet she never gave up and kept on, even after her retirement. I also really like her Hello Kitty-esque design personally. I really like what the art direction gave her in game. Definitely daughter material. With that, we are painting her casual clothes variant where she got an ice cream plush from an arcade, which is actually pretty nice, and it is based off of her guts card, which is right here. So yeah, without further ado, let's check the print and see what's going on. So this figure has been 3D printed and was given to me, and I cleaned it over the span of few weeks. I had to repair some parts like the laces because I was a bit too heavy-handed in the cleanup. But nonetheless, I am personally excited to start. So let's go. Okay, so one of the common mistakes usually in airbrushing is not cleaning it thoroughly. So right now we are disassembling and I'm cleaning the airbrush. As you can see, there's some paint gummed up in it. So right now we're gonna use isopropyl alcohol, the 99% kind. We're just gonna wipe the externals out and check the insides, and just in general wipe off every excess paint that we can see so that the paint flows properly later. Trust me, you're gonna need it. Please, for the love of God, clean your airbrushes. But before we start airbrushing, here's a quick stop guide if you're really just new. Skip to this timestamp if you just want to go to the painting parts. So besides using clean airbrush, here are some stuff that you might want to follow for a smooth airbrush experience. So number one, you just want to thin your paint. Paint won't flow properly if you just plop it inside. Some paint lines have airbrush ready variants like the ones we're using right now, but in the event it is misbehaving, thinning it a bit won't hurt. Number two, you must do light coats only. Just pass them through, no need to be aggressive, don't be in a rush. Rushing paint jobs will get you nowhere. You might encounter a paint explosion or spider legs, like the ones in this picture here, if you focus on a spot too much, or well, if your paint is too thin, not adhering. So, just keep it moving like a dance, just swipe left, swipe right. You'll see it later in the video. And of course, number three, actually this is very important. I see a lot of people forgetting this. In between colors, do a quick rinse. You wouldn't want your paint mixing with others unless, well, if that's your desired effect. But, 9 times out of 10, it's not. So, no need for deep clean. Just do a, quick clean, a quick rinse. Just clean the cup until you visually see that it is, well, in fact, clean. So yeah, that's that. It's not in depth, but it's a good crash course. Let's continue. For the painting, we're going to use Hero's new line of paints, which is Hero Air. Now, we will first start with priming with black, so we can see if I made some mistakes. So, I loaded up my compressor and loaded up the airbrush, and then we'll begin. Now, we will use the Hero Air White Primer to create a zenithal effect on the model. So, for one, it's for the skin tone so they can pop up easier. And just to see in general, again, if I made mistakes in the cleanup and the print, and I can just go over them later. Now, for the hair, we're going to use Air Basic Pink. We're loading it up and just hitting everything that's hair in pink. For the skin base coat, we're going to use Air Summer Complexion. It's a very good warm-ish sort of skin tone. So that's actually perfect for Haru Urara since she's a bit on the paler side while at the same time being a bit reddish. For the body, we're going to use a pink plus white, and we're using it for the ice cream as well. For the blue part of the ice cream, we're going to use basic blue and white primer just to produce a lighter tone of blue. And for the cone, we're using basic tan. Lastly, basic red for the shoes. For the sleeves on the body, we're going to use ghost gray because it's kind of close to white but not as bright as white, if you get my drift. For the overalls, we will use dark blue and midnight gray 50-50 to emulate the muted nature of denim. Now for the yellow parts, we're gonna go over with a ghost gray base coat so that yellow will be easier to manage later on. And now we're going to use chrome yellow and pale yellow 50-50 again for the yellow parts. So it's a bit more on the pastel-ish side but not losing too much color on the yellow. Now we are to use red oxide for the end of the sleeves. Now we're going to use pale complexion to lighten the skin up a little bit, but not too much. Balance here is very, very important. Once that's done, let's head over to the head and just paint over the details like her ears and the headband of hers. Now we'll use a darker pink to create the shadows on her body. For the sleeve shadows, we're going to use intense violet and ghost gray. We are going to follow the official art in which the shadows on the sleeves are more on the purplish lilac side. So this is my custom mix for that. Now for the highlights on her overalls, we're going to use dark blue and ghost gray. It's a good mix since it's just a bit lighter but it's not too stark compared to using white. For the shadows, we're using fire orange and pale yellow just to keep up with the pastel-ish feel of everything right now. I did some shadows off cam. Now we are going to use burnt umber to create outlines on the figure so it pops a little bit more, you know. For the last part of the body, we are using a lighter gray for the bottom part of the overalls. Now we're going to go ahead and create the shadows and the highlights. So we're using magenta and midnight gray for the shadows. And light skin tone for the highlights. The back parts and the deeper shadows of the hair, we're going to use a darker gray mixed with our original magenta to further accentuate the shadows. Now we're going to use ghost gray for the highlights of the hair. Then after that, we're going to use saddle brown for the shadows on the face and the skin. Now we're going to use burnt umber to paint the eyes using the guidelines I made off camera. For the mouth, we're using carmine red and ghost gray. So ghost gray will desaturate the carmine red so it looks a bit more fleshier in a sense. Then we'll darken it for the shadows and using ghost gray for the teeth. Here I just airbrushed blush off camera. So right now we're going to use saddle brown and salmon skin tone for the shadows on the arms. We add a bit of salmon skin tone to lighten the shadow so it won't be too strong. So for the pink ice cream, we're using magenta and ghost gray for the shadows. So I'm just making this simple because that's how it is in the artwork. Then we're using magical blue, and later on I added a bit of darkness to it for the blue part of the ice cream, so that acts as its shadow as well. Then for the cone, we're using a chocolatey color to act as a shadow. Then after that, we're going to use a leather brown for the cross sections of the cone, so it looks more of an ice cream cone. Now that looks nice. Now off camera, I painted the color. Well, after that, we're going to detail the shoes. So the left and right shoes, the same technique. So nothing has changed, but we're going to use some gold to highlight some gold parts. And well, we are halfway done. Let's keep it up. So for the legs, I'm adding a bit of warmth with some light red, which is very thin down. And then I'm going to add the shadows, again using saddle brown and some of salmon skin tone. Both techniques apply to the both legs. Then we're going to do the tail and highlight it with a bit of a skin tone to have some variance on it. Okay, one more piece. We're using basic pink for the base. So I put some blue tack on the foot mount so it won't get affected by the paint. And yeah, it's just simple as just applying the paint. And with that, we're done. And now we are finished. So this is the figure wherein I still haven't mounted the base yet, since at this time it was still drying. But look at that. I'm so proud of it. So yeah, that's the end of the video. I honestly loved this project so much. Even it took me a bit of time, but the experimentation that I went through this is just so good. Because there are some times where I doubted myself, but you know, that's the fun part about miniature painting, yeah? You know, once it works, it's just that dopamine rush. It hits you hard, man. So I hope you picked something up, like a thing or two with this video. And let me know down in the comments what you think. And hope you like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.